New York City Democratic Socialist Mayor Zohran Mamdani flexed his political muscle Tuesday with all three of his endorsed candidates winning their House primaries. Claire Valdez won in the 7th District, where Democratic Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez is retiring after more than 30 years in office. Velázquez did not endorse Valdez. In the 10th District, former New York City Comptroller Brad Lander defeated sitting Democratic Congressman Dan Goldman. And Darlicia Avila Chevalier ousted another incumbent Democrat, Adriano Espaillat, in the 13th District, a 5-term incumbent, in fact. Earlier, Mamdani said the victories show Americans are ready for change.
These results, as a reflection of, are the fact that New Yorkers are hungry for a new kind of politics. They are hungry for a politics that understands working people should be at the heart of it.
For more, let's bring in CBS News political director Fin Gómez. So, Fin, how are established Democrats and Republicans reacting to these wins? Could it change the party's approach to the midterms?
Look, there's no doubt, Lindsay, that progressives and Democratic Socialists are fomenting a change inside the Democratic Party. This is the biggest political story on the left. We have talked to some establishment and even some congressional leadership about these losses or wins by these Mamdani-backed candidates, and there is a sense that they are excited about what they see as like some energy coming from the base, but also some do feel that once you pivot to the general election, some of these candidates could be in trouble. And we've been talking about this for over a year now, Lindsay. There are close parallels to the Tea Party movement of 2010 on the right, and what you're watching right now is a progressive Tea Party movement playing out, during this cycle. But on
what do you mean by that progressive Tea Party?
It's a progressive Tea Party. Like, if you remember the Tea Party in 2010, Lindsay, it was really this grassroots movement that came up from conservative activists who were against the Obama administration at the time, and was really a precursor to MAGA. And at times they superseded their own party leadership to push in their Tea Party candidates. Yes, they had a big turnout when it came to, and a big success when it came to the House side, but on the Senate side, they lost some close races, Lindsay, because they picked candidates who might have been darlings of the base, but once they went to the general election, were not great general election candidates, and a lot of those lost. So there is some concern by Democrats that I spoke to today that could also happen here.
Okay, so let's say that some of these candidates do go on to win the generals. Do you see this movement being isolated to major cities, or do you see it gaining traction across the U.S.?
Look, that's a great question, Lizzie. And for the most part, this year, what we have seen are these DSA wins, these very progressive wins in places like not only New York, but in D.C. We saw it in that L.A. mayoral runoff, and also in Seattle with the mayor there. So you are seeing it. Also, there are places outside of these urban centers where you are seeing these wins by the DSA wing of the party. However, it's not as expansive as one may think. And looking back to those 3 key races that we've been talking about in the New York House, it's very important to note these 3 races don't really change the chessboard. They don't really change they don't impact the balance of power because they're in safe blue seats. They're safe blue seats. So it's really the toss-up states, and the question is, those toss-up districts, and the question is, how will this message play in those more purple electorates than New York, which is a very blue electorate? Lindsay.
Okay, Fin Gómez, thank you.